Oh man, did you guys ever miss the dance of the century? Eric was dancing so crazy the frames couldn't even keep up on his camera. What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Indie Invasion Shorts. We'll hang out, just run our mouths for a couple minutes until some folks join in. If you
hopefully I don't get the boot.
yeah, hopefully you don't get the boot because I can't do the half of your. I can't do your half. But if you're first time joining us, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch watching, thanks for joining us. If you're on YouTube, click the like button, subscribe, and join us, and you'll keep up to date on all the crazy stuff we try to stay up to. And if you're on Facebook, you obviously are on our Indie Invasion page watching. So if you're not a member of that page, just join us. It's fun. And of course, Twitch, which we are slowly trying to work our way up the ladder to be an affiliate so that we can leave our content up there. Not there yet, but hey, we're working on it.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
So what you been working on this week there, Mr. Eric?
So wolves are officially done.
Wolves are
done for the D&D campaign.
All right.
I can move on to the next just actual fun model that I may or may not use in D&D.
The Shambling Mound.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
nice.
did do kind of a quick brush wash on him just to kind of make things pop out so then I can go back and see what I want to actually put more detail into.
Yeah. What's happening, Dan? Dan said nice haircut. I don't think he's actually got a haircut, Dan. He just doesn't have a hat on.
Yeah, that's what I just didn't put my hat on today, which is very weird. I feel kind of almost naked because I wear it all the time. Today,
well, I logged in. I thought I was going to have a new co-host tonight. I wasn't sure, so I didn't know. Tyler said he thought the time might be wrong. Nope, buddy. We hit it at 9:30 because I got to take all the kids to school in the morning, so I can't do it any later than 9:30. Hey, Alder, what's happening? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alder.
Our morning Wednesday coffee with Alder. Eric, you're very blurry. It's you being on Wi-Fi there.
It's actually because I'm in the middle of uploading stuff still.
Are you uploading stuff again? You got to stop uploading when we're doing this. He's not actually blurry, Alder. That's just how he looks. Am I right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So we are running off of something. I don't remember who mentioned it last week, Eric, about the solo games.
Oh, man, I don't remember. I wish I would have wrote it down. One of the guys that was in the chat with us last week. So this is kind of a little bit of a follow-up of last week's. Mentioned that we did skirmish games to take with you on a desert island, like your top 5 ones that if that's all you could take, which ones would they be? And somebody suggested, what about solo? Makes perfectly good sense in today's world where, either you don't have a gaming group or a gaming store or, with COVID, it's kind of hard to get together with people and play games. And a lot of companies actually this past year have come out with or are in development of solo rules for current games that they actually have. So it's kind of a neat thing that they're in a way catering to us as gamers, to give people more options to play. So
which an interesting point about that too was it was Alder on Discord.
Okay, I was wondering if it was Alder.
An interesting thing about that is as we were compiling the list, or to more accurately say, as Eric was compiling the list and I was stacking up my books that were solo games, it occurred to me that a lot of the games that were solo before COVID were mostly the smaller independent guys.
Yep.
So a lot of the bigger games weren't doing it, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because they were targeting group play and lots of people playing. Solo wasn't really what they were going after, because the bigger guys were, they're selling bigger stuff and bigger volumes of things. So it kind of made sense that the little guys were the ones that did it. So similar to what we did last week, we're going to attack these lists the same way. We're going to do our top 5 solo games. And I'm going to make Eric go first. You stopped your download, didn't you?
No. It's actually behaving.
Oh, no,
right
there
now.
you go. You're getting blurry again. Okay, you just weren't moving. So
I got like 6 more minutes left. That's why I haven't stopped.
Okay. So Eric, talk to me, Goose. What is your number one? Which one are you starting off with for solo game? I don't think I want to be on this desert island again. Can this just be a solo game? I don't want to be on a desert island. We can do it in Grand Cayman, but I don't want to do it on a desert island.
Say, what about a resort island?
Okay, I'm down for a resort island.
Hey, by the pool.
That's the next big thing, right? They have gaming cruises. We need to have an Indie Invasion resort island gaming extravaganza.
Just have a big floating table in the pool.
Yeah, we can even go over to Alder's side of the world, because that's like my prior military service. That's the only part of the world I haven't been to. So I'm down with that. Not check it off the bucket list, right?
Definitely.
All right, so fire away, buddy. What's your first one?
My first one might sound a little weird to hear that it's something from Games Workshop, and it's new. So I'm curious about playing the new Cursed City. So, I've always liked Warhammer Fantasy, and this is their new Warhammer Quest, I guess, along that line is Cursed City. And I know the big hoopla is just the amount of miniatures it comes with, and the fact that you can take those miniatures and bring them into like the regular game, add them to your armies and stuff like that. So it does have kind of a little bit of a double purpose. And I mean, I think it just sounds interesting because it's very narrative story based, which is very different for Warhammer. And of course the minis, the minis are great.
Yeah, that's Games Workshop claim to fame, man. It's all about, hey, look at this 47-pound box. It's got all miniatures in it.
Yeah. And it also, unfortunately, we were talking a little bit about this, comes with a hefty price tag. So this for a solo game, because I mean, it does have multiplayer rules too, but it does have solo rules in it. As a solo player, that's going to be hard to swallow, that price tag. I mean, we were saying that as a big box game, if you have a group of guys, everybody pitches in, everybody take their little chosen, faction, then it's easier to swallow. But as a solo game, that's kind of the only downside about this.
Now, don't get me wrong. I can justify it. I can find a way to justify the expense because they're fantasy miniatures. Man, I can use those in Relic Blade, Rangers of Shadow Deep. I can use them in my RPGs. Look here, I can find a way to squeeze them into Twisted. I can squeeze almost any model into Twisted as long as it's not too sci-fi.
Now, I'll admit to this, okay? The biggest reason I would like to do this one and just get it in general is because there's vampires. New Warhammer vampires that we haven't had them in production for many years now. The actual traditional vampires that they had from way back when. Yeah, so
and I was watching I was watching a little bit of Uncle Adam on Tabletop Minions maybe an hour ago because I was like, oh, what is this Cursed City? Because I haven't kept up with what's new coming out from the big guys. I try to keep my keep my ear to the less known games. So, but that box set is tempting. I might be able to convince my oldest son to go splitsies, and then I could probably stomach the price. But I don't know, what all does it come with? It comes with vampires and
I think the traditional factions that are in there. You get your Stormbringers, and I think there's Chaos in there and Dwarves. I haven't looked into all the factions it comes. I saw a little bit of an unboxing, and the amount of sprues that are in it were just staggering.
Oh, look here. Tyler says if you didn't already get it, good luck, because word is no more are being made. That would explain the $400 price tag on eBay, which I ain't going there, man. I ain't going there. All right. So Cursed City, if you can find a copy and you own an oil field, go ahead and pick it up on eBay. If you don't,
if you didn't have this pre-ordered, you're probably not getting it for a little bit of time.
Yeah. So the game I went with for my first one is, now I think this one is unique out of all of them because of the purpose that it was designed for. It was never intentionally designed to be anything but a solo game, and that's Battle Space by Robert Salters, Table Salt Games. And we did an interview with him. You can go back on the YouTube channel and on the podcast on Podbean, and you can listen. We did an interview with him about his game. And so this is the only part about it for me that I don't care for. And it's because it's a modern skirmish game, and I'm just not a modern skirmish game guy. I like that. I like an element of insanity to it, whether that insanity is sci-fi, fantasy, vampires, walkers, whatever it is. I like that something different. Now, having said that, I have played Battle Space, and
you tweaked it a little bit, though, right?
Well, all I did was change the era, so okay. I didn't want to play in the Middle East. So I and the models that I had 18 millimeter Vietnam Marines and Army models, and I had North Vietnamese. So hey, it's Clem Cadiddlehopper. Yes, we did miss you, Clem. So that's what I had. Is I had Vietnam era stuff. So we played at 18 millimeter on a smaller table, 2x2, and I got to tell you, the game was absolutely fantastic. Huge point for the game is that you can download it from DriveThruRPG, and you can get absolutely everything that's written for the game for something like $13.
Okay.
So it's got a fantastic AI for the bad guys. And when I played it the first time, we're doing the AI, and I'm like, man, this was kind of easy. I'm not really digging this. Well, it was the kind of game that goes from 0 to 100 in like half a turn. So yeah. I went from going, okay, the mechanics are kind of cool, and this is, to all of a sudden, oh my gosh, there's snipers everywhere. And it was just, and so it was really intense, and it was really, really fun. And the mechanics were simple. So I highly encourage you, check out Battle Space. It will be coming out in a hardback, and I'm probably going to mess this up. I will look it up. But I want to say it's Modifius that is doing a hard copy book for him. Mm-hmm. Not 100% sure about that.
When you got it, you just got the PDF, right? And then printed it out.
Correct.
It was like, that's so $12. So if you guys want to jump on it now to try it, you can't beat $12.
No, you absolutely can't. It's just it was a definite win. So check that out. It's on DriveThruRPG and soon to be in print. And if I can find the last message he sent me here. Hold on. Okay, I got it. It is Modifius.
Okay, that's why I remember you mentioning that some time ago. And that's what it was. So
they're doing a hardcover book for him. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm just getting ready to do the second proofreading for it. So that's awesome. All right, what's your number 2? Because boy, we rambled on our number 1s.
Okay, so number 2 is Burrows and Badgers. And I know people are like, wait a second, isn't that like a campaign type of stuff? Well, this was one of those independent games that last year with lockdown and everything, they're a British company, so they were really locked down compared to the U.S. here. And Lovejoy is Michael Lovejoy, right?
Yep.
He actually sat, and developed some solo rules. I guess he's been having a lot of people request it because they love the world. They love, building your war bands of all these critters and otters and mice and dogs and, and taking it through the regular campaign. But with everything last year, people couldn't get together with their groups and, play the game. So he did develop some solo rules for people that you can, I think it was a downloadable PDF that you
and if I'm not mistaken, it's available. It's free. If I'm not mistaken, and I believe it's available in the Burrows and Badgers Facebook group. I think you can get it right out of the Facebook group because I remember him posting something about that in there. But so he made it available because, like you said, it was in response to nobody playing. Although it didn't stop anyone from buying his miniatures because
I know he had to close the store for more than once.
One time I think it was because of us, because we both ordered at the same time a whole bunch of stuff. But nobody who's listening right now expected that we would do something like that. No. That would never happen. Never happen. Burrows and Badgers, definitely a good one. Check that one out. Cool rule book too. And if you like the setting, which is kind of it's animals, but it sort of tracks along historically. So it's a little bit, it varies off a little bit, but it sort of tracks.
It's light fantasy too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very, very light. You do have some magic users in there, but there's not a big, huge emphasis on it. So
yeah, but definitely cool game. Definitely cool game. So for me, number 2 is Core Space. So if you guys were following, it was a couple months ago, I got really heavy into Core Space because there was just no way to play with, and I dove into the solo rules. Well, I mean, to be honest, you can't really go wrong with it because it's got the buildable terrain from battle systems. I will say this. It's solo, and you can play it with somebody else. It's way more fun with somebody else. It's one of those ones where the solo rules are good. The AI doesn't really change because the AI is the same in multiplayer or single player. So there's no, you don't have to figure anything out. You're still essentially playing the same game.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun. It can be a really tense game. It's one of those kind of games where, so this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of playing a game of Zombicide, where some games you set up a game of Zombicide and you're like, man, we wiped those zombies out like we were the Walking Dead. We smoked them. And then there's other times where you don't even get off the first tile.
You just get swarmed right away.
You're just like, oh my, what just happened? That's terrible. So that's the kind of pacing that the game is. But with the option versus Zombicide, you can be like, I'm out. I'm going back to my ship. I'm just out of here, because you don't want to lose your guys because it's campaign style. But that's kind of nice, is that it has a campaign style in the solo mechanic. So you're playing and progressing your dudes, which is really cool. And Alder says, nice miniatures in Burrows and Badgers. Must resist. Don't resist. Don't resist. We do not talk like this in this group. That is not acceptable. All right. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is Pulp Alley. So this is a game I know you've had experience with. Yes. You got it all. Yes. And they do have solo rules for it. What I really like about this game is just the setting of it. It's your 30s, 40 pulp era adventure. It's basic adventure. You think Indiana Jones. It's totally right out of that kind of thing. And the solo rules, the game in general has a lot of those decks, different type of decks that will affect the game as it goes along. So, as a lot of these games, you don't have, other people to play with. It's nice that you can still get it to the table and get that taste. You have that taste for that game, and just have some fun battling Nazis or battling some other bad guy in a foreign country, or
zombie Nazis. That's the great thing about Pulp.
The Pulp thing, what it attracts me to is it has a lot of that. Your cults. You have your secret society cult, and that's like classic cinema of the good guys battling the bad guys. They're pretty cut and dry of white hats and black hats in that game. And that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, that's very cool, because you can fight your zombie Nazis from outer space.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can just throw whatever you want. Yeah, I really dig the era of Pulp Alley and the game itself. I've only had the opportunity to play a couple of times, but I've got my crew led by William West, slapper of villains.
It's one of those games that you can bring whatever miniatures you want, kind of come up with your own characters. Stats are fairly simple, straightforward. You're using, is it 6, 8, 12 dice. Is that
6,
it?
8, 6, 8, 10, 12.
10, 12. Okay.
Yep.
And, you're basically making simple dice checks to see if you succeed or not. And these cards will affect that. So it's a simple system to play by yourself, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's just a cool game, and the setting is fantastic. And Dave, the creator of the game, is constantly putting up videos on their YouTube channel of how to play, and broken down really, really well. That's kind of what drew me to the game in the first place when I ordered everything, was that it was very approachable. You know what I mean? It was, you could feel his passion for his game.
Oh yeah,
that's just kind of
totally what gets me too. Is I've been watching lately a lot of his Sunday playthroughs that he does, and he's just got so much energy and passion, like you said, into the game, that you feel like you're kind of watching almost like a movie of one of these short serials being played out. And that's a neat thing about the game.
All right, my number three, I really came here for counseling for this one, because it's Frostgrave / Stargrave, because Stargrave is in Kickstarter right now. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Kickstarter, it's basically just Kickstarter from, oh my gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank on
North Star Games.
Yeah, North Star. Whew, thank you. Saved my life. It's basically a Kickstarter that they run, and it's in Kickstarter right now. So I know I'm not going to get the correct kind of support that I'm about to ask for, but I'm going to ask anyway. You guys stop me. I know I'm not going to get any help from you guys, but here we go anyway. So no, this is everybody about to get back at me for everything else, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I really like, number one, the system itself. Like when Frostgrave came out, reminded me very much of when I used to play Mordheim way back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
And I like the Frostgrave system. I don't have a group to play, so I don't play. But Stargrave bringing that sci-fi element, and there's been some really cool sci-fi games that I've come across that I've really liked overall. There's been Zone Raiders, there's been Core Space, there's been Stargrave coming up here, there's Star Breach. So there's a lot of cool games with a lot of different mechanics, and it's just, it's sucking all of this different stuff into the game. And just say no more money for your other passions. I'm trying. Thank you. See, Clem Cadiddle Hopper got my back, baby. That's what I'm saying. But so it's really cool. I might just get the book, because I'm a rule book junkie. I like to read them, so I might just get the book. Also, it gives me the opportunity to review it, because it is an independent game and gives us an opportunity to look at it. But that one's going to be really cool, and it's probably going to do really well, because Frostgrave has done well with North Star involved in it. You're getting the miniatures, you're getting the box sets, you're getting all these little starters that go along with it. So I'd say that's a win.
Okay.
Check out Stargrave, Kickstarter.
Let's see. We got a lot of people cheering for some of the stuff I see. Ron is cheering for Pulp Alley, which
says it's super easy, super fun.
Yep. And you turned me onto that one. And here, Todd's trying to get you to stop, but I don't think you're listening, are you?
I'm listening. I hear you, man, but got these things on, and it's kind of blocking the. All right, what you got next?
I'm up to number 2 now, and okay, I'm kind of splitting this, not because I couldn't decide, but basically you're kind of playing the same genre type of game, but it's a zombie game. So I'm going with Last Days / Walking Dead All Out War.
Right.
They're zombie games, where you're going to the table with your survivors, whether it's Last Days, your own custom created characters, or
which is amazing,
Walking Dead, where you're playing characters from the show, or the comics. Either one is basically your small little group versus just masses of zombies. And we've talked about this, I think mainly with Walking Dead. We've both played it before. I still have all my stuff.
Yeah, and me too.
It's one of those games that it's supposed to create tension. That's one of the things we like about zombie games, is that tension of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But we also felt a lot of times that it's like, it needs more zombies. It just needs more chaos,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Good night, Dan.
Night, Dan.
Night, Todd.
So that's one of the things about like any zombie game,
Right?
Because there's more out there. Is that I think if you add just on your own some zombies into it and crank it up a little bit, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because if you're by yourself, it's like I think you're maybe a little less competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not necessarily. You're just overcoming the scenario. So I think that's kind of
cool. How long you can survive.
There you go. Alder's really got my back. He said, "Just do it, Mac.
Just do it."
There you go. That's
support right there.
That's the II support group right there. Come on now. All right. So my number 4 is actually a longtime favorite for me, and that is Deep Wars and Shadowsea. Now, it wasn't originally solo, but when the new models came out, he did a partnership with the author of the Grace Flynn books, Phil McCall. And when he did that, the small... Oh, you're saying night to Dan. Okay, well, welcome back then, Todd. When he did the partnership, they pushed to do something solo so you could just play. And I did all the play testing, which was super fun. So I ran all the play testing. So if you try it and you get destroyed, that's my fault because I told him it was too easy to win. So if you play that scenario in the Grace Flynn book and you get destroyed, that's my fault. Take full responsibility.
Good going.
Hey, man, I had to do what I had to do. I had to make it more fun. But that one is really cool. It has a simple AI mechanic, yet it is really it's involved, yet it's simple to operate. So basically you have like this chart of the AIs, and it's not big. I mean, you print it out and it's not even half a page. But it's got all of the responses for the different types. So you might have 50 different monsters in the game, but each one of them will be typed down to like 5 different types, you know, with their brute, long range, stuff like that. Okay. And it flows really easy, really fast. And it's a really top shelf solo AI. So, and this game is one of the ones that's kind of a litmus test for models for me. They're really, really good models. So, hey, Craig, what's happening? Craig has joined us. Better late than never. Absolutely. Absolutely. Todd's with us to the end. Good old Clem. Good old Clem Cadiddlehopper.
All right. So I got one last one, and it's very similar with your AI, how simple and basic it works. And that is Urban Manhunt. We've always talked about Urban Manhunt, how it has some unique elements in it. And the fact that you can play this by yourself, because the game, you know, playing with other players, you're racing. You're not shooting at each other. You're not competing, you know, one-on-one, you know, duking it out. So the solo rules in this are very easy, you know, like the same game almost, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Like core space. It's like you're changing almost nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it already has basically an AI set up, which is, you know, every turn you're generating more bad guys that you have to hunt in the game and hunt down. Now they do have like the backstory is like, it's a virtual reality. Like you're in a training type VR system.
Right.
And your opponent is in another setup. So you're kind of, you know, they'll do their thing and it's a random generator of what's happening over there. So that's what you're competing against is, you know, that AI, what's going on. And then you're down at your deal, what's going on, trying to hunt that crim and score as many points as you can before basically the buzzer goes off.
What I do like about it though, is even though you're not playing against the other person, you can steal a kill.
Yeah, you
can definitely steal a kill. I may or may not have done that in some of the games that I have played before. Now, obviously you can't steal them if you're playing solo, but
and you got to keep an eye open for, I believe it's later this month, or it might be even next month, that Cynthia is releasing companion rules for the game. So slowly expanding the game. We're going to get some more content for it that you can apply to whether you're playing, you know, with other people or just doing the solo thing. So,
and we will definitely, we'll probably do a whole Indie Invasion shorts when that comes out on that. Just because we want to do that. So, all right, Alder's checking out. Have a good day, sir.
All right, Alder, take it easy.
We have our morning, evening coffee with Alder every Wednesday. All right, and my number 5 is kind of coming. My number 5 is coming soon. Coming soon. And that stay tuned. And everybody probably knew this was coming, but guess what game it is? Twisted. That's right. Solo rules for Twisted. Now, I have been playing Twisted solo pretty much since COVID started.
Yeah, as soon as it started.
Yeah, as soon as it started, I started playing the game solo, and I just adapted some different AI mechanics that I had already used and kind of pared everything down for simplicity. And as I was doing it, Peter was like, "Hey, what are you doing for your solo rules? We should make some solo rules for Twisted." And I'm like, "Yes, we should. That would be awesome." So that's what I've been playing, and it's really simple because to me, like for instance, you're essentially fighting whatever the bad guys are, as opposed to fighting another faction. So in order to do that, there had to be something else created, and there has been something else created, and you'll just have to wait for that for when Peter decides to release that. But on that note, to close that, what I want to say is this: if you want to play something solo, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing it. I don't care if it's Wild West Exodus. I don't care if it's the Drowned Earth. I don't even care if it's 40K. You can do something. Will you have to pare it down sometimes? Yeah. Say you're playing Wild West Exodus. You might want to take 4 or 5 guys, and that's it. And then you come up with some basic bad guy, whatever it is. Movement. You want to do movement easy? When they go to move, roll a D10. It's got a little point on the end of it. That's the direction they move, whatever their movement is, until they have line of sight to somebody, and then they move towards them to attack with whatever ranged attack they have. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you want to get your game on the table, man, Games Workshop, these indie developers, none of them are going to come knocking on your door telling you can't play their game the way you want to play it. So my mindset is, man, set up a table, make the terrain as dense as you want so that you're telling a story, throw a couple bad guys on there, whatever it is, and go to town. Just figure it out. Like
experimenting. If something doesn't quite work, maybe make a mental note or even write it down and try something different.
Change it mid-stride.
I mean, all these games, whether they have solo rules or not, we paid for them. There are games now to do, and have fun with. That's what it's about, having fun.
Absolutely. And sometimes I'll just set up a table. And then that will inspire me to try something else solo. So
we mentioned a War Cradle, so Todd's playing his game.
Yeah, we gotta. I can hook you up, man. I can just War Cradle all night.
And Spaz, I've done this. Actually, I did this tonight with Marvel United, where I just played both sides, to try out and figure it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing that too, and seeing which side wins.
Yeah, absolutely not. You just that's the thing. And if nothing else, you can hone your own tactics for when you are playing with other folks again. So to me, it's a win-win. There doesn't have to be official rules. And who knows, you might come up with some unofficial rules and post a picture of you playing a solo game in the Facebook group of whatever game it is. And the creator might say to you, "Hey, what you doing? What kind of rules you doing there? Throw them at me. Let's see what we got there." And then you never know what happens from there. So I say go for it, man. Because really every single game we've ever talked about, man, you can play solo. You play by yourself. It might not be quite as fun, but you know what? It gets your minis on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. You're still chucking dice and moving some minis around.
That's right.
It's still fun. So, but that's our top 5 solo games to take to the Desert Resort Island.
The resort for the indie invasion extravaganza.
Yes, with the poolside bar and floating game table.
That's right. Floating game table. No vendors though, because we're already not going to be able to afford anything as it is. So no vendors. That would destroy us.
No. But thanks you guys for tuning in for another episode. And this episode's topic actually was by a viewer from last week. Thank you, Alder, for the suggestion in our Discord.
Our coffee mate.
Yes. So if you guys have suggestions and stuff like that, send them to us.
Oh yeah.
I'll put them in the notes. I started a new document for notes for shorts today.
Right there. There's the printed copy right there with the handwritten notes. This is Eric's fancy stuff. This is my chicken scratch.
All right, you want me to take us out this week?
Sure, you take us out.
All right, I'll take us out. You guys, thanks for tuning in again. If you guys want to check out some more of our audio content, our podcast, you can check us out on Podbean, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and Google Play.
Google Play, that's right.
Most places you can find podcasts, we're there. And please feel free to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. We're trying to get those going. Like, subscribe, share, helps the show grow. We appreciate that. And like I mentioned,
share.
If you have ideas or suggestions for games and stuff for us to check out, email us at indieinvasion@gmail.com. And the place to check out easy access to all these internet places is our website, CoastalCon website at coastaltext.com. We have links to all those places. I got mine right next to it, but I don't want to. You guys get to see my hair this week, so
it's a special treat. If I'd have known you were going to be without a hat, I would have called this episode Eric's hair.
But you can find links to all those places there, and you can check out some of our supporters of the show, Discover Games, Unipolar Games, and even Jim, the tabletop engineer, with all his magazines that he's producing.
That's right.
And please feel free to check us out on Patreon / or is that / Indie Invasion / We have content up on there, videos. I don't actually think we have any audio on there, but there's a lot of content, unboxings and stuff like that for you guys to check out.
There's some story audio on Patreon.
Story audio, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what, guys? You guys don't have to give to enjoy. So it's all up there for everybody to just take in. But that's it, guys. That's it for today. Thank you for joining. Until next week, which we'll have to come up with a subject next week, right?
I'm thinking we could probably come. Who knows? One of the guys, somebody might throw something up in the Discord or somewhere else. Who knows?
Yep. But until then, guys, while you're out there playing your solo games, prepare yourself for the invasion. Bye, guys.